Video recommendation. This is a video interview with Mikey Garcia on ES News, where Garcia is talking about a meeting he had with Eddie Hearn to discuss potentially signing with Hearn and Hearn's DAZN platform. Now, why I recommend you go watch this is because unlike these demented trolls, Eddie Hearn haters and Wilder fanboys, Mikey Garcia actually has some intelligence in his head. And he's actually taking Eddie Hearn's offer seriously and looking at it with maturity and intelligence. Now, he may turn down Eddie Hearn's offer, but if he does turn down Eddie Hearn's offer, he's doing it for the right reasons. He's not doing it because of some badly misplaced and misguided sense of patriotism. He's not doing it because of any Joshua Wilder beef or the back and forth between the fans over that. No, Mikey Garcia is smart enough and intelligent enough to ignore all that nonsense and look at what is actually on the table. Look at the numbers, look at the contract, and be sensible about it. Very smart guy, Mikey Garcia. And again, maybe the Hearn deal ain't right for him. And Mikey Garcia talks about the reservations he has with Eddie Hearn and his DAZN deal. He says that the reservations he has basically are whether the platform can be successful, whether the platform can give him the exposure that a Showtime or an HBO can give him, and also the pay-per-view situation, because DAZN is not a pay-per-view platform. So these are legitimate concerns that Mikey Garcia has about DAZN. And I don't know whether DAZN is going to be successful. I hope it's going to be successful because I want more fighters to get more opportunities, to be able to box more often in the United States. I want boxing to grow. You know, Bob Arum has said that Eddie Hearn doing his streaming thing on DAZN is great. And Bob Arum is a rival promoter in the United States. But he says the more the merrier. It helps boxing if there's boxing on more platforms. It does help boxing. This is why I was a big supporter of Al Heyman, even though there was a lot of channels out there dissing Al Heyman and dissing PBC. For God knows what kind of demented reason people were dissing PBC. I, from the beginning, facts, was saying I hope PBC succeeds. Facts. I was always saying this. And just like I was hoping PBC would succeed, I'm also hoping that DAZN succeeds, because it gives fighters more opportunities and it gives fans the opportunity to watch fights in the United States for cheaper. You know? Because they're talking about potentially anyway. I don't know the exact cost of DAZN, but it's basically going to be like Netflix for boxing, or Netflix for sport, not just boxing, but boxing being part of it. All right, Netflix for sport, where you pay, you know, there's no contract. You pay once a month, $20, wherever it's going to be. And for that, you get, you know, several fight cards in a month. Some of them are going to be championship level fights with elite fighters involved. It's a great concept. I hope it works. If it don't work, oh well, you know, hopefully some other alternative comes in that can allow fighters to get more opportunities. You know, my concern here is not with Eddie Hearn and his bank account, because Eddie Hearn's already rich. I don't give a damn about Eddie Hearn's bank account. My concern is with the fans getting more boxing, with the fighters actually getting out there and being more active, and them getting good deals, better deals maybe than the deals they've got right now. That's what my concern is. And if that's what DAZN can offer people like Mikey Garcia, then great. I don't see why anybody would hate on that, because most of the people who are hating on Eddie Hearn are not rational. They're idiots. That's what they are. They're idiots. They're not really boxing fans at the end of the day. And they certainly don't have a ounce of intelligence in their brains. Mikey Garcia does. Mikey Garcia is a smart guy. And again, he may accept the Eddie Hearn offer. He may not. But if he don't accept it, if he turns Eddie Hearn's offer down, we at least know he's doing it for the right reasons. He's doing it as somebody who's thought about things rationally rather than being silly. You know, he's thought about it rationally. And I'm sure he's got offers from other promoters too, and other situations he could get involved in. So, you know, bravo to Mikey Garcia for being level-headed and intelligent about the situation. And hopefully the Charlos will be too. Hopefully, I think one of the Charlos has recently said that he's received good offers from 2 different promoters. And I guess one of them being Eddie Hearn. Yeah. 2 different promoters. And both him and Garcia are going to talk more about their offers and make a decision on them after their next fights. That's when they're going to make a decision. So yeah, sensible, particularly from Garcia. Hopefully the Charlos are sensible too. And it is a bit of a worry when you're a fighter and you're looking at a promoter trying to sign you to a platform which doesn't even exist yet. You know, DAZN exists in other territories around the world, but it don't yet exist in the United States. So as a fighter, you're going to be a bit pensive in it. You're going to be a bit sheepish and unsure about joining a platform like that. Perfectly understandable. That's reasonable. Yeah. Eddie Hearn has the money and he's being very aggressive with the money. and in fact, what Eddie Hearn might have to do to get this DAZN platform up and running is try and get a lot of fighters, a lot of the top fighters, to fight on DAZN on a 1 or 2 fight deal. That's what you might have to do. Because signing anybody long term is going to be, I think, quite difficult. Yeah. But signing somebody to a 1 or 2 fight deal might be a bit easier. And then after signing them to a 1 or 2 fight deal, the fighter can look at what Eddie Hearn has done for them and look at how the shows ran and say, you know what? You know, maybe I'll stay or maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll sign for a longer contract or maybe I'll leave. You know, and at the end of the day, any sensible fighter should look at what Eddie Hearn has done in the United Kingdom. You know, there's this whole Wilder and Joshua beef. Look what Eddie Hearn has done for Anthony Joshua in the United Kingdom. Anthony Joshua has only had 20 fights. 22 fights, whatever he's had. Anthony Joshua has had half the number of fights Deontay Wilder has had. But yet he's made how much more money than Wilder? And it's Eddie Hearn who got him to make that much money. Eddie Hearn has got him to make so much flipping money. Wilder hasn't seen that kind of money in his wildest dreams. Eddie Hearn did that with Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn has had stadium fights with Kell Brook too. You look at Eddie Hearn's track record in terms of what he's done for fighters, getting them in big fights, big purses. I'm not saying he's perfect. But he's done a flipping good job. And yes, in Britain, the boxing fans are a lot more enthusiastic than American boxing fans at this point in history. But that's partly down to Eddie Hearn building up that kind of atmosphere. Because before Eddie Hearn came into the game of promotion, boxing in the UK was in the dark ages. It was not in a good place before Eddie Hearn came in to boxing in the UK. Since Eddie Hearn has basically taken over boxing in the UK, that is when this renaissance has happened in British boxing. That's when Britain has become one of the big homes of boxing in the world. Since Eddie Hearn took over. Facts. Before Eddie Hearn came about, British boxing was in a bad place. Any British person could tell you this for a fact. It was in a bad place. Anyone who's objective and not just some, demented, troll. Anyone who's objective will tell you that it was Eddie Hearn who spearheaded this current renaissance in British boxing. The way that he promoted the shows, the way that he interacted with the fans, the way that he promoted his boxers, the fact that he's very articulate and charismatic, all this kind of stuff combined with his good decisions. The way that he actually organizes the show, the logistics and stuff like that, his matchmaking to some extent. All these kind of things have led to Eddie Hearn having a lot of success, British boxing being booming right now. Any sensible fighter in the United States should look at that, should look at what Hearn has done and say, okay, this guy's clearly got some talent, or else he wouldn't have been able to do all this. He's clearly got some talent. Look at what he's got Joshua paid and all these other fighters. He's getting them paid big, big money. I mean, O'Hara Davis, O'Hara Davis lost against Josh Taylor, but O'Hara Davis made 6 figures against Josh Taylor. And O'Hara Davis wasn't even a world level fighter. How many American fighters can say that? American fighters who have never even fought a world level fight, but have made a 6-figure purse. How many of them can say that? Very few. You don't have to like Eddie Hearn as a person. Just look at the results. And if you're a sensible fighter, you're going to say, okay, I at least have to entertain his offer and see what he has. You don't mean you're going to accept the offer, because again, I can understand the reservations that people have about the platform. I can completely understand the reservations people have over it. So as long as they're turning down Eddie Hearn's offer for the right reasons, cool. But if they're just being silly and petty and, you know, being like Broner and all these other, I mean, to be fair, I don't know why Broner turned down Eddie Hearn's offer. You know, the real reason he turned down his offer. It could have been those numbers are too low for him, but you can negotiate higher numbers. This is what Mikey Garcia said. He said Broner shouldn't have come out and talked about the offer that Eddie Hearn made because, you know, keep it behind closed doors and negotiate a better deal. That's what you could have done, but now you've basically blown it because you tried to put him on blast and whatever, and now you've blown an opportunity for yourself. This is Mikey Garcia's attitude towards it. So, yeah, sensible fighters are at least going to entertain what Eddie Hearn is saying, have a look at the contracts, and make a sensible decision. Whether they agree to join him or not, they're going to be sensible about it if they're intelligent fighters. So, anyway, have a watch of the video for yourselves, see what you think. It's happening, I'm out.